Yo, what's going on, everybody? Stube here, and today we are taking a look at our first Lost Origin deck profile. Now, mind you, there are proxies. The cards aren't available in English yet. I have played a few games with this, and this seems pretty insane. I don't know if it's ultimately like the truth. It does seem pretty back and forth with Palkia, but you definitely have a really good time against Arc Intel, though. So keep that out there. But we are taking a look at Giratina VSTAR for the first time on the channel here. So we'll start off with this Giratina, and we'll go through the deck. But don't forget, before we get really deep into the new stuff, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for more TCG content. I'll try and do as much as I can until I run out of ink. We gotta remember that we're not making money from this channel, so anything that I do when it comes to buying new cards or buying ink for a printer to make colored proxies with, it's strictly coming out of my pocket and my paycheck. And I'm a very humble man when it comes to my well-being. I mean, we have some pretty shiny cardboard, but we work on that. It takes time to get there. But anyways, without further ado, let's take a look at this. So we are playing a 3-3 Giratina VSTAR line. We'll start off with the Giratina V. 220 HP, so on the thicker side of a normal V. You've got two attacks, Abyss Seeker and Shred. Shred is awesome to have, so no pesky Miltanks are ever going to cause you any problem. You don't have to worry about that. But you've got Abyss Seeker. Look at the top 4 cards of your deck and put 2 of them in your hand, put the other cards in the Lost Zone. So that'll help you fill up if you need to. Say, for example, if you're going second, this is the active. This is a way to do it. And then, of course, Shred for 3, 160, just goes through any effects, just like Duraludon, Dragapult. So yeah, 3 Vs and 3 V-Stars. The V-Star has 280 HP and has 2 attacks, one of which is a V-Star power. You've got Lost Impact for 280 damage for a Grass, a Psychic, and a Colorless. So you have to put 2 energy attached to this Pokemon in Lost Zone. Not just necessarily this Pokemon, but you could do it from your bench if you really need to. And then the V-Star power, Star Requiem. If you have 10 or more cards in the Lost Zone, you can just instant KO your opponent's Pokemon. That actually hasn't come up too often. I am using another V-Star power instead, which we'll get to in just a second here, to give me a little bit of extra oomph on a turn where I need to do something else instead of, say, for example, playing boss. But this 280 feels really good. I am not playing any choice belts, but if you feel like it's necessary for you to deal with Mew in the meta, then definitely get a choice belt in here, or you're going to have a bad time. Alright, so now we are playing a 1-1 Leafeon Vstar line. I stole these out of Emily's cards for the sake of playtesting and getting this together. So yeah, this Leafeon V is the only one we had, and I had to take it from Emily's collection. So I'm sorry, baby. I'm sorry I took your Leafeons. One of her favorite Pokemon. But yeah, Leafeon V, 200 HP with the ability Greeting Cells out of Evolving Skies. Once during your turn, you can search your deck for a Grass Energy card attached to one of your Pokemon. And if you do this, your turn ends. And you've got Leaf Blade. It has 90 plus, flip a coin if heads, it has 60 more. Never going to attack with that. But we do have the Leafeon V-Star in here, 260 HP. Its attack can come up often. 2 Grass and a Colorless 180 during your next turn. I'm sorry, your opponent's next turn. This Pokemon takes 30 less damage from attacks. And you have the V-Star power, Ivy-Star. It's basically boss's orders. So in a world where you know that you aren't going to get to Star Requiem, you just use Ivy-Star to gust up and take a KO with your Giratina. Or in some situations, like say they have a Crobat or a Lumineon on the bench, and this is like your late game attacker, theoretically, an attachment and a mirror onto this thing will give you enough to take a KO, and you can one-hit KO a Leafeon, or I'm sorry, not a Leafeon, but a Crobat or a Lumineon. They both start with L. Alright, 4 more Pokemon. We have the Lost Engine. We are rocking 4 copies of Comfey. This thing is absolutely insane. Think of it like an acro bike. So when it's in the active spot, you can look at the top 2 cards of your deck, and you get to put 1 into your hand and 1 into the Lost Zone. You're never going to attack with it. And this is a once per turn when it's active, but if you know, pivot around or scoop up net, so on and so forth, you're able to reuse and abuse Comfey multiple times. So yeah, this is like the ideal starter for most scenarios here with this deck. So definitely you wanna get this popped off as soon as possible. The next Pokemon we got is a copy of Kramer. The ability Lost Supply. With 4 or more cards in the Lost Zone, you ignore all parts of its attack cost. So you just can Fighting Spit for 110. It's not affected by weakness, which is kind of unfortunate, but it's still really good. 110 for no energy when you have 4 in the Lost Zone, which is super easy. It's as easy as doing you know, Comfey 4 times, or playing using Comfey twice and Chorus twice, or once, I'm sorry. But yeah, pretty good to have this. To round out the Pokemon, we do have a copy of Radiant Greninja. Discard an energy card and draw 2 cards with concealed cards. In a weird world, you could actually probably play Water Energy in your Lost Engine decks with Giratina. And you could technically put the mirror on this thing. It's possible. It's maybe something we look at in the future here. Once the meta shapes up and changes a little bit more, we might be able to make Greninja an attacker more often in these Lost Engine decks. And last but not least, we do have a copy of Crowbar V for Dark Asset. When you bench it, just draw your hand up to 6 cards. Pretty easy and straightforward. You all know what Crowbar does by this point in time. Supporters. We're not playing a lot. We're only playing 6 supporters, which is kind of weird, but it is what it is. We have 4 copies of Chorus's Experiment. Look at the top 5 cards of your deck, put 3 of them into your hand, and put the other cards into the Lost Zone. So you pick up 5. You're drawing 3. This is basically Chorus is basically Hop or Sharon or Tierno with the effect of putting 2 cards in the Lost Zone. So pretty cool. Definitely really good to be able to just like look at the next 5 and be like, all right, I don't want you, I don't want you, I need you, I need you, I need you. And then this really helps you set up to get to the magic numbers of 4, 7, and 10 in the Lost Zone to be able to do all the things you need to do. Again, the Giratina VSTAR power attack, the Requiem, doesn't happen often. You're more worried about getting to 4 for Kramer, and if you need to, and 7 specifically for the mirror. We'll get to that. Last supporters, we are playing just 2 copies of Boss Orders for Gusting. Goes really well in hand with the Leafeon Vstar. We are playing 1 copy of Training Court to be able to pick back up energy cards and attach them. Straightforward. Nothing too crazy here. And on to the items. We've got 2 copies of Quick Ball. Discard a card from your hand. Switch deck for a basic Pokemon. This grabs your Giratina, your Crobat, pretty much everything except for your Leafeon Vstar and your Giratina Vstar. Enough said. And we're playing 3 copies of Ultra Ball. Discard 2 cards. Switch deck for a Pokemon. Easy peasy. We are playing 4 copies of Battle VIP Pass to help you start on your turn 1. And if you start with Comfey, you're digging pretty deep. If you're going second, you can Chorus and dig even deeper to find these. And they really pop off in this deck. In worst case scenario, you're using Comfey and you find one later on in the game and you just instantly eat it. You're never gonna want it after turn 1. So easy discard food and easy Comfey and Chorus yeets. Alright, here we go. Mirage Gate, the magical mirror itself. You can only play this card if you have 7 or more cards in the Lost Zone. But when you do, switch deck for 2 basic energy of different types, so in this case, Grass and Psychic, and attach them to your Pokemon in any way you like, then shuffle your deck. This is not a once per turn. This is not once per game. If you can do this twice in a turn, insane, have fun, good luck to your opponent, because they're going to have a bad time. But to be able to just accelerate energy from the deck once your engine is rolling, this thing is insane. We're going to see Chorus, Mirage Gate, Comfey, Kramer, and maybe Sableye in a ton of other decks, especially with Thornton. So be prepared for a lot of those different Lost Origin, Lost Zone decks to show up on the channel in the coming months here as the cards come out and we play more and the meta develops. Because I honestly, like, my mind is just like, what can we do with this? What can we break with this? And my first thought is, like, amazing rares. We've already seen, like, Reshiram pop off in Japan a little bit with the Lost Engines. We'll definitely cover that in a week or 2 here. So keep an eye out for that. I did order Reshirams. They were, like, 75 cents a piece. So I got lucky on that one. Continuing on, we have 4 copies of Scoop Up Net to be able to pick up and reuse your Greninja and Comfeys. And it's also another way to pivot around to be able to use Comfey multiple times in a turn. Speaking of pivoting, we've got 2 copies of Switch, and 1 copy of Escape Rope, and 1 Air Balloon. Again, more pivots, more switches to be able to use Comfey more and more. Last but not least, we do have 2 copies of Ordinary Rod. This is going to be able to put Pokemon and Energy back into the deck. If Energy gets discarded early on for your Ultra Balls or your Quick Ball or whatever else happens in game, or, you know, they take KOs, then you're going to be able to put back things into the deck like your Energy and be able to use Mirage Gate once again and again and again. Absolutely insane. And then for the Energy, we are playing 4 copies of Capture. So Leafeon and Giratina both have a colorless attack cost in one of their 3. So this definitely fits that bill there. Turn 1, attaching a Capture to a Giratina and grabbing a Leafeon going first is insane. And then you can just end your turn with Greening Cells. And then all you need next turn is a Psychic Energy. Bada boom, bada bing. For Grass, we are playing 6 copies. Again, I'm sorry, Emily, I stole your Grass Energy for this deck list. I love you. But yeah, I stole her Grass Energy here. So we're playing 6 copies of Grass and 5 copies of Psychic. I think this is the best early way to play Giratina, in my opinion. And from what I've tested off, it's pretty solid as well. But yeah, let me know what you think down below in the comments. And we're going to try something different, so hang tight. Alright, like I said, trying something a little bit different here. I've been shuffling it up. So I'm going to really attempt to get a good hand and see what we can do to show you guys how to play this deck, sequence it a little bit, and go from there. This is definitely something we haven't done on the channel other than just like you watching other gameplay that we've posted. But yeah, why not? Let's do this up. So we riffled it up, and we have a mediocre opening hand. So you always want to start with the Comfey if possible here. And we'll take over the next 6 cards for our prizes. And so this is our hand here. We'll play it open-handed for now. Hypothetically, let's just say we're going first. So you don't ever really need to bench your extra Pokemon going first. So we draw, and we get a Crobat, which is pretty cool. So we can definitely just start off with a Battle Pass. Here, I think we're going to go ahead and double-check through the deck. Gonna eyeball the Leafeon since we are going first and we can't attack. And I am gonna eyeball another Comfey, but let's double-check and see. Greninja's in here. We have another V. We have the Leafeon Vstar. I see 1, 2, 3 Giratina Vstars. So theoretically, worst case scenario, we actually could yeet one of our Giratinas from our hand away, since there is still one in the deck and not prized. Our energy count is very important here. So we've got 1, 2, 1, 2, 2, 2, 3, 1, 3, 2, 4, 2. Yeah, 3, 2. Okay. So we do have a Psychic Energy prized. So yeah, we're going to go ahead and just get Leafeon and Comfey and shuffle up. Should be sufficient enough for our little demo until I throw cards like that. That's fine. So Battle Pass to the discard pile. We'll go ahead and use the first Flower Picking. And look at that, another Battle Pass. You know what? I think we go ahead and just yeet the Comfey, and then we play another Battle Pass. So that's really good here. Again, we do have a Giratina in hand. We can go ahead and get another Comfey and a Greninja. And this is where it gets tricky. Do we Escape Rope? Do we use Greninja? So on and so forth. I think we're going to go ahead and use Greninja first. We do have 2 Psychic in hand. Or I'm sorry, 2 Grass. So we discard here, and we'll concealed cards and draw 2. We hit another Giratina. So we can thin our hand down. We're going to have to Escape Rope here first and switch into an unused Comfey. And then we'll go for Flower Picking again. And we do hit a Colress. So we'll go ahead and keep the Colress. So at this point in time now, we could attach, retreat, so on and so forth, and go into the other Comfey. But I don't want to be too aggressive, so we're going to have to just hope and pray that we actually hit a Psychic Energy off the Colress and the Comfey for the next turn. So we'll go ahead and attach to the Giratina, and we can go ahead and Greening Cells for our first turn. You can get another Grass Energy and attach it to the Giratina. And now most people going second won't be able to knock out the Comfey, depending on their deck. Hypothetically, if it's a Palkia deck, they're not attacking. If it's an Arceus deck, they really could potentially Power Edge going second. They're not going to. They're going to Trinity Charge. So we assume that Comfey survives the turn. So we rip a Battle Pass. It's an instant eat for the Ultra Ball. So we can actually go ahead and get cards out of the deck faster that way, but we do have this in the active. So again, it's super weird to be able to sequence this deck out. So we'll go ahead and Flower Pick, and we do hit a Mirage Gate, and we hit a Giratina VSTAR. We're not going to get to 7 this turn. This will be 3, 4, 5. Not safely. We're not going to get there. So I feel like we take the Giratina VSTAR, and we get rid of the mirror. So now we have 3 in the Lost Zone. I think at this point we're going to go ahead and Colress and look at the top 5. Alright, so 5. We are taking the Scoop Up Net out of our 3, taking the Psychic Energy, and we could take the Quick Ball to thin down our hand just a little bit more to potentially draw up with Crobat. We don't necessarily need to. We are going to be able to take a KO here with Giratina VSTAR this turn. So I think the energy being preserved is pretty important. We don't have a lot of follow-up for the next turn, so we just don't re-bench the Comfey. We could use the Crobat. So we'll go ahead and keep the energy and eat these. And so now in our Lost Zone, we have 5. So keep that there. So we can go ahead and scoop up the Comfey and promote the Giratina. We're going to hold the Comfey. We will attach the Psychic Energy for turn. We have the VSTAR to evolve into. And now this is where we can decide to put down another Giratina in case they can threaten a one-hit KO. They most likely aren't able to do so, though. So having that open bench space early is nice, or we could just be safe and bench it so it can evolve next turn, and also potentially we can find a gate to accelerate energy to it. In this situation, we did play Colress. We could also even use the Ultra Ball here and discard the Battle Pass and the Comfey to search for Leafeon Vstar and just be very aggressive early on. So that's just sort of a sample scenario of what you can kind of do with your first 2 turns with this deck. It could definitely go any other way. Again, the sequencing could just go in any direction. You could choose the Flower Pick before you Colress, or concealed cards, and so on and so forth. But definitely being able to see how fast Giratina can swing with the power of Leafeon and the Lost Engine. But that'll do it for me. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and check us out in the next video. We'll probably look at Kyurem with Palkia. But yeah, that'll be it. See you later. Much love.